Well, welcome back to Series 4 of our lectures on marketing research. My name is Sean Jordan. I'm an instructor at Southern Illinois University in Edwardsville School of Business, and I'm also a full-time marketing researcher at the Research and Planning Group in St. Louis, Missouri. And today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, which is qualitative and quantitative research. And I'm really excited to be talking to you about both of these because I actually do both qualitative and quantitative research every day in my job. This is something that I get to do quite a bit, and it's something that I really enjoy and that I think is a lot of fun to talk about. Now, before I begin, I just want to kind of explain to you that both qual and quant, as we often call them in the research field, there are two different approaches to conducting research, and they both come from different disciplines. So qualitative research tends to come from fields like psychology, sociology, and anthropology, which are what are often called the soft sciences. And these fields do have a lot of rigor behind what they do, but they tend to be focused, at least psychology and anthropology tend to be focused a little bit more on small groups or on individuals rather than on the more rigorous, repeatable results that come from large groups. Now, sociology as a field thinks more about broader, wider groups, and sociology does use a lot of quantitative research as well. Quantitative research is really about bigger groups, but a lot of the quantitative techniques that we use come from fields like engineering and economics, and from the fields of, from the techniques of mathematics and statistics. And they tend to be a little bit more focused on numbers and calculations and on trying to look at groups as data rather than as people. And so as a result, you get really two different kind of ideas about how research should be conducted and how data should be used and looked at. And there's actually quite a bit of discussion among research professionals about what we call the validity of these different techniques. And generally, I'll just kind of let you clue you in. A lot of quantitative researchers tend to feel that qualitative researchers aren't rigorous enough and that they're not really practicing science. And a lot of qualitative researchers tend to feel that numbers just don't do a good job of explaining things, and that numbers can be easily misread and can be misleading, and that they don't get deep enough or give us enough understanding of the topics that we're researching to really be able to make strong conclusions. And in fact, one of the unfortunate things about a lot of the statistical processes that we use in quantitative research is that they can be very data driven to the point that they're not really reflective of how people actually think or feel. They're just reflective of how the data tend to come in. So there's a lot of discussion about whether you should use qual or quant when you're using research, and I'm going to tell you, I use both. I think they're both great. And hopefully by the end of this series, you'll have a good understanding of how both of them work, at least broadly speaking. And I'm not asking you to choose sides. I'm not asking you to pick one. What I'm asking you to do rather is open yourself up to the idea that both can be used and both are very useful, but that both do have their strengths and weaknesses. And so we want to look either for opportunities to use the right approach, or we want to look for opportunities to combine them together to maximize their strengths and minimize their weaknesses. So with that said, enjoy the series.